So, with regards to the NWH, the mental as we call it, I stumbled across a video the other day. This couple was on the top road and they were going to fly a drone over the mental. And with regards to drones, there are signs no drones allowed, but it's Jones Brothers, it's a polite request, not an order, because I know you know, these drone flyers, they'll argue, oh no, we're allowed to, we can fly a drone over this area and stuff like that. But Jones Brothers, I know that the reason why, they've got a perfectly valid reason why they don't want people to fly drones over the mental, but I'm not going to discuss it, you know, in this video, but they have got a good valid reason why. But anyway, this couple, obviously they from away from, not from the local area, because they were looking at the mental and they called it the North Wales Hospital, but as Denbighites we call it the mental, we don't call it the North Wales Hospital. And they're looking at the nurses' home. There's a big white building there, I don't know what that is, they were just going and all that. And then they turned the camera to the actual main range of the buildings. Oh, there's the North Wales Hospital, a horrible, horrific place. The patients were treated, they were cruel to the patients, and a horrific place and stuff like that. But just to make statements like that, do your research and get your facts right. Okay, in the early days, I will say that the mental was a frightening place, because in the early days mental health wasn't understood. If you were mentally ill, well, you'd be put in a lunatic asylum. If you were dyslexic, if you had a low IQ, if you were a bit behind, or if you didn't fit in with others, you were a lunatic, and that was it. You'd be shoved in an asylum. You wouldn't be mentally ill. So it would have been a very frightening place, especially the early days of the mental, where they were locked in from 10 at night until 6 in the morning. They were just locked in the wards. There was no staff, no one else in the building, just the patients. So you'd be there, perhaps you were just a bit dyslexic, and you'd be locked in with genuine mental people with mental health issues. They'd be screaming, and you know, and it must have been a really terrifying place. But with regards to being cruel and stuff like that, as I said, mental health, they just didn't understand it. They were trying their best to cure these people in the early days, but if anything, they were probably making things worse, because, I'll say it again, they didn't understand. But over the years, the treatments improved, the medication improved, and I've talked about it a lot. 45 years plus years now I've been documenting the mental, and I've been sharing my experiences and stuff growing up as a kid. I had a lot of interactions with the patients. I knew a lot of the patients, I knew a lot of the staff, and I never saw or heard anyone talking about any evidence whatsoever that they were mistreated. Just bear with me, I have a very muddy section here. Yeah, nothing at all. So with regards to it being a horrific place, and with regards to, you know, staff being cruel to the patients, well, you're not going to hear it from me. I never saw over the years, as I said, any evidence whatsoever. If anything, they were happy there, and if anything, they felt safe in the mental. You'd see them on town, you know, the ones that were let out, able to wander free, they'd let them out into town and stuff. And then you'd be talking to them, and oh, is that the time? Oh, I got to get back to the hospital. Obviously, they didn't call it the mental. Oh, I got to go. And they were glad to get back into the mental. If anything, they felt safe there. So, like I say, my experience, I never saw anything or heard anything that any of the patients were mistreated. okay, you did get the few escapees where they used to escape from the mental and threaten to jump off the castle walls, but it wasn't because they were mistreated, it's because they were mentally ill. They weren't responsible for their actions. So yeah, so I just thought I'd have a bit of a natter just in response to these this couple who was saying that it's a horrific place and the patients were treated cruelly and stuff like that. But I don't know, you're not going to hear it from my channel. As I say, my experiences over the years, no evidence at all that the patients were mistreated. Like I said earlier, mental health, it just was not understood. You know, you would just, you wouldn't have mental health issues, you could be just a bit backward, a bit slow, and you know, you didn't fit in with the other people. You were a lunatic in them days, and that's it. You would be slammed in an asylum. So it must have been a frightening place, a very frightening experience. But with regards to calling it horrific and with them treated cruelly, well, that's you know, not you know, it's not going to come from my mouth, you know, from my experience. So yeah, so 45, well, it's 45 plus years of documenting the mental, and I ain't going to stop anytime soon.